Now, in this video, we're going to get to what I call the TAM profile. TAM stands for Total Available Market. Now, we have the right mindset. We know what we want to sell. We know what our product is, what our service is. We've gone to the features, the benefits, and advantages. We know what we have and what we have to offer. Now we have to find someone who's going to buy our product. TAM stands for Total Available Market, which means basically the whole world. Now, let me ask this question. Is the whole world going to use your product, your service? Of course not. So what we have to do is to be able to develop a profile of those type of clients who are more likely than not to actually buy our product. So what we have to do, if you ever watch any of those CSI shows where they get the profile of the client, well, in this, what we're trying to find out is to find out the profile of a prospect or someone who may want to buy or use our services. So the first thing we need to do is to be able to create a list, generate a list of all potential people who would potentially buy or use our service. You guys get the idea? The second thing is we then need to want to be able to take that list, because I'm sure that's going to be a very big list, and then break it down into categories. And I'm going to walk you guys through an example on how to go do this. We need to categorize it. And then once we categorize it, once we categorize the big list, what happens is we begin to prioritize our hit list, okay? So we need to be able to first, who we're going to go after first, who are we going to go after second, or who are we going to go after third, and so forth. Pretty much first thing is the high profitability, and the third thing is the lowest probability. We cannot sell to everyone, but if we find people who want our product, our services, the chances of selling goes up dramatically. Now, let me take a step back right now. When people fail in selling, it's not because they're not good at what they do, or good at selling, or good at sharing their information. It's not really that. It's that they're selling to the wrong people. Again, let's go back to the restaurant example. If I go to a great restaurant that serves great steak, and then I'm going to try to share the information with people, or share it with a vegan, for example, it's not going to go over well. So again, we need to be able to find people who are more likely than not to actually buy our product. So again, let's generally list all the potential clients that we could possibly actually have that would possibly buy our product. Take that list and then we start chunking them into categories. Once we categorize them, let's go ahead and prioritize who we are going to go after first, second, third, fourth, and so on. Now, I put on a small potential sample to be able to help you walk through this, and this will be included in your notes as well. Now, in this example, what I'm doing is I'm using a pest control company. Now, let's say that you're a pest control company and that's the service that you offer. Now, who could you sell pest control services to? Again, we can sell it to the whole world, the whole available market, right? The TAMs. But what we want to do is we want to narrow it and generate a profile. So the first thing is to create a list. So I've created a list and let me run it with you at this very moment. There's homeowners, restaurants, of course, pest control, right? Their banks may need it, stadiums, of course. How about community centers? How about commercial buildings or warehouses? Or commercial office spaces. They may need some pest control as well, right? How about some workout facilities? How about apartment owners? Property managers may also buy the services. How about a golf course? Maybe. Theaters? Could be. With all that food and popcorn in the theaters, why not? Storage facilities? Now, that would be a good one, right? Now, funeral homes. Again, the list can go on and on of all these potential places that we can actually sell our services to. So again, not only do we generate a list, can we sell to everybody? Of course we can, but we cannot and should not do that. If we do not focus, you're never ever going to win when it comes to selling. So what we want to do is we want to focus. Let's move on to step 2, and that is to categorize and start breaking them apart. Now, I'm going to create 3 categories for this list that I actually just told you guys. The first list is known as the B2C list. Now, let me start introducing to you guys some terminology, okay? B2C means your business, B, which is you will sell to a C, which is a consumer. That is what we call business to consumer. You're a business, you sell to a consumer, right? You are in a B2C scenario. Are you guys getting the idea right now? The second scenario is when you're a business and you are selling into another business. That's what we call a B2B, business to business. The third category is what we call a combination of both the first and second. It could be a B2C and a B2B. An example with this is something I'll do as we walk through everything. Now, let's again take our list that I shared with you earlier: homeowners, restaurants, bags, stadiums, commercial buildings, so forth and so forth, right? So what I did is that I categorized them into 3 categories. The first category, we called it the B2C, the residential services, pest control services selling to residentials, and B2C would include homeowners, okay? I'm selling to a homeowner at this very moment. That is a consumer, that's a customer, a consumer, maybe individually owned restaurants or an apartment or condo owner, right? And so that's another choice right there at the same time. Now, let's say somebody owns a craft store, one craft store. Maybe we can sell that. Maybe we can sell them our pest control service. That is a B2C, business to consumer. So that's the first category. Then we move on to the second category, which is business to business, right? So this is not residential, this is not the individual restaurants, this is a commercial folks type of a setup. And this would include your restaurants, banks, stadiums, commercial centers, commercial buildings, a warehouse, a workout facility, golf courses, theaters, stores, funeral homes, and so forth. Those are what we call commercials, right? Or first one, like I said, was the B2C, so that's business consumer. The second one is B2B, so that's business to business, okay? That's what B2B is. People that owns, once again, restaurants, bars, commercial buildings, and so forth, right? Storage facilities, don't forget about that. Now, the third category is kind of a combination, right? That would be apartment owners. See, some apartment owners own more than one apartment building or complex, right? So there may be multiple locations. Maybe we go after property managers, people that are able to manage other properties for other companies. So what I've done here is I've created 3 categories: B2C, B2B, and then the hybrid B2BCs, right? Now, what I'm going to do is zoom back, step up, and look into and say, hey, I provide I provide pet control services. I'm sorry, pest control services. So what I want to be able to look into is where should I invest my time? Where should I get a higher ROI or return on investment? So if I sell to residential, for example, B2C, should I basically focus on just commercial, which is B2B, right? Or maybe I should go into the hybrid folks, the B2BC people, the property managers, the multiple property owners. Now, what I would do is this. I would first focus on residential because that's one-on-one selling, and I actually enjoy one-on-one selling. So I would kind of look into that. Look at individual owners, individual store owners. So by creating 3 categories, I can say to myself, you know what? I can focus on this. Now that I've found my target profile, what I'm going to do is to be able to is to put together my whole presentation, all my marketing materials to go after that particular market niche, right? So that's a good word to be able to put into your vocabulary, the word niche. That basically means that you've taken a whole market, you've cut it up into pieces, you figured out where you want to sell, and that becomes your market niche. So your homework right now is to list down potential prospects, right? And then second step is categorize them and then prioritize them next. What is the market niche that you are trying to go after? So go ahead and get started. Take about 10 to 15 minutes to start putting this together for you and your company and your products and services.